Welcome back to the 10-minute marriage tips to keep you hitched with Kyle. My name's Kyle, and I have with me Dr. Phil again in the studio.
How are you, Kyle?
Doing
Good to
well.
see you again.
Doing well, mate. Today's episode on partnership, you've actually brought a partner in to the studio.
One of my really good friends, Pastor Roger Affalay.
Pastor Roger.
Affalay.
Welcome to the show, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
How far have you come just for this?
All the way from Wagga.
Wagga Wagga.
Does it take like a day to drive out there?
No, just 3 hours.
Couple of hours, mate.
Okay. I'm new to town. So, thanks for coming, Rog. Partnership. Phil,
Yeah.
what have you got for us?
We're going to talk about partnership today. I want to read us a verse, Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one falls, the other can reach out and help. But if someone falls alone, he is in real trouble, or they are in real trouble. So today we're talking about partnership, Rog, and that verse just sets us up, sets the whole thing up. When does a partnership or a marriage become a family? In your opinion?
In my opinion, it starts at the marriage. Not
Right,
when,
straight away.
Yeah.
Not when you have kids.
Not when you have kids.
Okay,
That's just my firm opinion because
that's good.
I believe that you in your marriage have to discover the values for the foundation that you want your family to be set up in.
Alas.
So if that value or foundation's not set and you have kids, you're figuring it out with no structure.
So Roger and I both have children. You've
Yeah.
got more than me. I've got two. We stayed
Two awesome
simple.
kids you've got. So.
Kyle, on the other hand, did you hear that advice? I hope you got that loud and clear there, Kyle.
Taking notes in the office here.
That's awesome, mate. So family straight away. You set the values for everything. I like that. So
How many kids have you got, Phil?
2.
Roger, how big is your tribe?
Yeah, I've got 4.
4.
Yeah, 4.
And how many are you going to have?
4.
4 more.
Rog,
that makes 8.
Rog set.
That's
No, we're
amazing.
gonna
Quick,
stay
tell
fixed
Roger's
at
wife
4.
8. He's having 8 kids.
Rog set.
We would
a
love more.
Solid
we would
foundation.
Love more. We would love more.
Phil, how many more are you having?
That's it. We're done.
Okay, because you are getting old. So.
None for Australia, one for me, one for my wife. That's it. So we're going into loyalty. Now, this is often seen when you go out for dinner or with friends, or you're in a social setting. Kyle, keep writing them notes, buddy. So when you go out to dinner, so what's important? What's important as a couple when you go out?
I think it's important that as a couple, you guys are on the same page, even in the moment if you're not on the same page.
You know what I mean?
You know, because sometimes there are times when you walk out, you're not always, seeing eye to eye, but
I like it.
you've got to make sure you've got each other's back as you're in that social context. Because
So it might mean that you go in that context, you don't agree with anything that has just been said.
Yep.
And you're like, nah, this is the case. And then you sort it out later.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the last thing you want to do is throw each other in the
Why
bus.
is it important to protect each other when you're out and about in a social setting?
Because we represent God in our marriages.
Yep.
It's one of the pictures we give people. And if we can represent love in that space of marriage, we represent God.
I like that because our relationship with God and God always does this whole, his relationship with the church is like a marriage. He always says that the bridegroom's coming for his bride.
Yep.
And so we're kind of depicted as the church, his bride, and he loves us and cares for us and looks after us. He would die for his bride. In fact, he did.
Absolutely, yeah.
He died for his bride.
He did.
So we've got to roll. So what Jesus is saying is we've got to roll like gangsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you got to be out there. You got to be ready to die for your lady. She's got to be ready to die for you.
Yeah.
And taking any comments that are made when I'm not present, like just on the weekend, something happened, Someone talked bad about me. My wife came up to that person.
From the stage.
It didn't matter who they were. She came at but no names mentioned. She came up to that person and, without my knowledge, gave them a stern word,
Just a little
a stern word,
Your boss.
and stuck up for me.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. I found out about it, and I thought, you go, girl. I really appreciate it. And I think you need to roll together. Partnership is so important in marriage. What do you reckon, Kyle?
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon it is. We've got 5 minutes to go still on 10 minutes marriage.
No, we've got plenty more to discuss. So when we're going out, have you ever been going, you're out, you're with friends or whoever it is, or you're in a social setting, you're at a church lunch, whatever it may be, and your wife looks at you. She gives you that look and you know, okay, it's time to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. One look I can talk about is if I'm oversharing.
Yes.
And she gives you that look like, hey, you're oversharing. And you kind of just go, and you'll see it in the conversation. It'll slowly change topics.
Yeah.
No one will know it, but the wife knows why it changed. It's because she gave you the look.
Yeah.
You're sharing too much.
Kyle, I want to bring, last time I tried to bring you in the conversation, I'll try again. I'll do it again. So have you ever been out in a setting and your wife has gone, you know what, Kyle? You probably shouldn't have said that. But not overtly said it to you or just given you a look.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Kyle's great.
Most of the time.
Kyle just says what he thinks most of the time. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
I like a few filters.
So what you're saying, Roger, is your partner is your temperature gauge.
Yeah. I mean, she knows you. She lives with you.
Yep.
She puts up with you. She's in a way the only one that's going to be honest to you. I mean, if she loves you, she's going to be honest.
But mate, honesty hurts. I know. I've preached sermons and I've said some things, and you don't have to preach a sermon. You have said something in a crowd. You've said something to people or whatever it may be, and it's just the first thing that's come to your head. And you're in the car on the way home, and it's like you shouldn't have said that, because my wife will always want me to look good in a situation. She always want to look my best. She always want me to look humble. She want me to look nice and But she can look at the situation as I can with her and go, you weren't looking the best that you could look in that situation. You weren't being the best person you could be.
Yeah.
And it's so awesome that we're looking out for each other like that. Have you experienced that?
Mate, my wife is my fashion designer. So if you see me ever dressed up and I'm looking dressed well, she's got it all over. It's all her work. It's all her handiwork. I can't dress to save my life. She would often joke around and say, I would say to her, come on, the world should be ready for my dress code. Yeah. And she would say, no, I don't think the world will ever be ready for your dress code. And so you just got to trust him. Yeah. And over time, you learn that she does mean well for you. The truth that you said that hurts, that's the truth that's going to build us up. That's the truth that's going to keep us on the straight and narrow, as you would say.
Partnership's it's not easy. No. It's not easy to get to that point where it takes a lot of swallowing that hard pill of have I just been offended, or do I feel offended by that, or should I just swallow it as the truth? Because you've got to trust your partner in the point where you've got to say, you know what, you're going to say some hard things to me. Yeah. But I've just got to accept that that's the truth, and I'd prefer you to tell the truth to me so that I become a better person than, than me.
Like, I don't know about you, Phil, and Kyle, but that comes back to the whole understanding the heart of the person telling the truth. Yeah. And if you know their heart's got no evil intent or no harsh intent, then you know the truth is only going to build you up. So, just thought I'd share that.
We all have different personality types as well, and it's often good to have a read from another personality type, which is very handy. So with that in mind, a free offer for you Effective Marriage from Nancy Von Pelt.
Love it. Great
With
author.
the keyword marriage, if you can figure out how to spell the word marriage, then you text that word to
MARRIAGE.
you text that word to 0482 082 876 and we
Yep.
will get that booklet out to you.
Don't miss out, guys. Great
Marriage,
author on
yep.
marriage.
Thanks for your time, Dr. Phil.
Thanks for
and
joining us.
Dr. Rog, elevated to doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison.
We'll talk again soon.